Bleach Rebirth of Souls is an upcoming arena anime fighting game developed by the Tamsoft Corporation. The game will support local multiplayer for up to 2 players, as well as online for up to 2 players. The game currently does not have a release date, and we've gotten over 20 minutes of gameplay showcasing different characters. We've gotten multiple character trailers, the last of which, as of this recording, revealed Rangiku, who's going to be in the game as a playable character, along with other characters such as Urahara and Gin. Bleach Rebirth of Souls covers the story of the Substitute Soul Reaper arc, basically the beginning of the series, up to the end of the Arrancar arc. So the later arcs of the series will not be included. But that particular range of the series means that the game is going to cover roughly over 300 episodes of the anime series. And since Bleach Rebirth of Souls is an arena anime fighting game, I think it's a safe bet to say that the game's going to try and include as many characters as possible between those particular arcs. It took some time, but I have compiled a list of what the final roster should be. And basically here it is. This is the final list that I've comprised. And I'm going to explain exactly what's going on here. So Rebirth of Souls, once again, as I just went over, covers the start of the series and runs until the end of the Arrancar arc, whose final segment is Downfall, which concludes at episode 316, although Aizen is defeated in episode 309. Below are listed characters who appear in battles through episode 316, categorized in their respective groups. I've designed the list so the characters will not appear more than once. As an example, Rukia Kuchiki, who's a lieutenant of Division 13, is listed in the main character category, but she's not listed in the Gote 13 lieutenant category. I wanted to make sure that, characters wouldn't be repeated so I could get more of an accurate number for the total. I do have the term not essential applied to certain characters on the list, which basically means that the character could be added, but they're not necessary to the final roster. And the total number of characters adds up to 91, minus hollows. And this number includes the non-essential characters. So the game could and should have up to over 90 characters in the game, or close to, somewhere around that number. Starting off with the main characters, all of which have already been revealed with the exception of one, which is Orihime. We have Ichigo, Rukia, Orihime, Uryu, and Chad. Other characters include Urahara and Yoruichi, both of which have already been revealed and confirmed for the final character roster. We have the Gote 13, which is divided up into 3 different categories. I have captains, I have lieutenants, and I have the officers. Thus far, there's only been 2 captains that have been confirmed for the game, and those characters are Gin and Byakuya. But considering the game covers the anime up to the end of the Arrancar arc, I believe it's safe to say that all of these characters will make it into the game. Now, personally, out of the characters that are on this list, the ones that I want to see the most that haven't already been revealed would be Mayuri, obviously Aizen. Everyone's looking forward to him considering he's one of the primary antagonists of the series, and Hitsugaya. If I had to add a 4th, it would probably be Kenpachi. So moving on to the lieutenants, Renji has already been confirmed to be in the game. There's screenshots of him on the game's official page. This is one of them. There's other screenshots with Renji as well, so we already know he's going to be in the game. And Rangiku was the last character that was confirmed. Moving on, we have the officers. Now, some of these characters did repeat, so I removed the repeating names. The 2 important characters on this list would be Ikaku and Yumi Chika. Moving on, we have the Arrancars, which are divided up between the Espada and the Fraction, or the Numeros characters, which are basically subordinate characters to the 10 Espada. There's also 3 other characters that I will go over in the Espada category. All of these characters should be in the game. There's not a single one of these that should be cut. Now, out of all of the characters that are on this list, the ones that I'm looking forward to seeing the most would be Ukiora, Grimjow, Tyr, and probably Baragon. But again, all of these characters should be in the game. We also have these side Espada right here that have been demoted. So I wanted to make sure I got those on the list as well. The group that took me the longest to devise would be the Fraction Arrancar characters. There are some exclusions on this list that relate to the Zalea Poro character, because his Fraction, they really don't fight in the series, so I did not include those characters. But just about everyone else is here. There was one unnamed female Arrancar character that I left off the list because that character is a filler character and is exclusive to the anime. And then I've listed 4 of these characters to be not essential. These 2 characters are Fraction to the Nell character, who I just noticed is actually missing on my list. So I'll have to update the list to put her on the roster. And the Lolly and Manoli characters, those characters aren't really involved in any major battles in the series. And only one of those characters, Lolly, is shown to use her transformation in the series. I actually went back, did some research to watch the episodes where these 2 were included, and they didn't really do much of anything. So that's why I have not essential next to those characters. Pretty much everyone else that's listed here should be included. I think the only other character that didn't really do much is Nakim. I believe he fought Rangiku in the series, but according to my research, not much happened in that fight. So I guess you could also consider him to be a non-essential character. And here's some of the other characters that are on here in this particular category. I did include 2 Hollows. The first is Grand Fisher, and the second is Menos Grande. There's other Hollows, obviously. From what I've researched, there's over 20 that appear in the series within the first 300 episodes, but I don't know if any of the Hollows are actually going to be playable, so that's why I only included 2. And then finally we have the Vizards, and there's 8 of those. Technically there's 9 if you include Ichigo, but again, he's one of the main characters, so Ichigo is listed in the main character category. And again, if you add up the full number, it's over 91 characters. The only character that I've noticed that's missing from this list is Nell. So again, I will update the list and include her. It wasn't my intention to leave her off, and I did catch that mistake. So beyond that omission, I believe this should be the final character roster right here, or around what it should be. And obviously, since the game only covers up to the end of the Arrancar arc, I've purposely left off the Fullbringer characters, as well as any character that appears in the 1,000-Year Blood War, which would be, a lot of those characters are the Quincy characters. I left those characters off, as we don't know if they're going to cover those arcs in DLC, or if they're going to make a sequel to this game and add those characters in sometime in the future by means of a second game. So those characters were not included for obvious reasons. Since this game is technically going to be competing with Sparking Zero, which has over 160 different characters, it would be best that the developers try and get as many of these characters in the game as possible, especially considering it's an arena fighting game. So we'll have to see who actually makes it in the final product and who ends up on the cutting room floor. But for these Arrancar characters, not putting a lot of these in, I think is going to kill the game. It's going to kill the interest in it, with the exception of, any diehard fans. So it's best that they try and include as many characters as possible.